charming Lana Parrilla.
Who's responsible for that? I'm gonna rip their heart out and crush it.
Hello everyone!
Hello everyone!
Some applause, Lana Parrilla! Welcome Lana, welcome to Belgium.
Thank
so
you.
Happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Yes.
So welcome everyone. Whoa!
Oh, sorry.
Things are getting started. So welcome
That's called
everyone.
jet lag.
Belgium style.
Belgium style.
Welcome everyone to Heroes Comic Con Belgium. We're so happy to have you. You will be meeting your heroes all day long, and we're starting with Lana Parrilla.
Yes.
So
Happy to wake everyone up. Good morning, bonjour.
oh, nice. How much of French words do you need?
I know some. Thanks to everyone here who's taught me so much.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So as you've just seen, we're gonna do things a bit differently this year. I will be starting asking the question. At some point, we'll switch to you. If some questions go beyond a line that you don't want to cross, I will, with a big smile, tell you thank you for sharing, but we'll move to the next question after that. But let's start with some questions that I have for you.
Okay.
So I wonder, we're here with so many fans, so many people who are sharing their love, living for pop culture, for culture in general. Have you ever been like a huge fangirl of someone or something?
Yes, I have been. Oh my goodness, I have met some of my heroes. I met Joni Mitchell, who I love, and maybe some of you don't know who she is, but she's an amazing folk singer. She's a singer. She's a beautiful poet. I met Meryl Streep. Everyone's like, we know Meryl Streep. When I met Meryl Streep, I said, I was crying. And she said, it's okay. And I said, no, you're like the Joni Mitchell of actresses. And she said, that's the best compliment anyone has ever given me. So she knew who Joni Mitchell was. And yeah, I've met Salma Hayek. I've met so many wonderful people. But I definitely cried when I met Meryl Streep, and I couldn't even breathe.
I totally understand.
She hugged me and said it was okay.
You got a hug from Meryl Streep?
I got a hug from her.
Oh my God, don't ever wash.
I was in a pharmacy. She was buying something in the makeup department, and I was like,
So you went to her?
No, so my friend went to her, and then they pointed at me, and I was hiding. Like, literally, I was hiding like this. And she pointed at me, she goes, come here, and I was like, and I started to walk, and then tears just came pouring out of my eyes. It was really beautiful. She was wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I'm guessing this will be a special moment today as well. So nobody needs to hide, we're fine.
Nobody needs to hide. There's nowhere to hide.
I wonder, how did you feel the sparkle inside of you, like, to want to get started as an actress? What was the thing, maybe, like you mentioned Salma Hayek, was it someone, was it something inside? What got you started?
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, I've grown up seeing so many movies. My father was a really big movie guy. He loved film, and he used to collect films. He was a collector of movies. So from when I was very young, I grew up watching all the classics. My aunt is also an actress, and she would take us to Broadway productions, and you know, film as well, movie theaters. And my family is very much in the arts. My grandfather was an artist, my mother's a painter, so I was always surrounded by art my whole life. So it felt very natural for me to move into this, you know, genre, because it was just in my blood, you know. And when we were young, we always made videos. My father had a video camera, my grandfather used to make films. So I just always acted since I was quite young. And it was my calling, so.
So when would you say your calling, when did you say, feel like, okay, the call is answered, this is happening, it's gonna happen for me?
Oh my gosh, has it happened?
Have you seen
I'm
the
kidding. I feel like, I don't know, I think that I didn't think of the outcome. I always thought like, I just need to keep working and working hard toward what I wanted. I started working young, so I was 21 years old when I got my first job. It's young, so I guess it happened young for me. And I think when I started studying, and then when I was ready, I started auditioning, I never thought that it wasn't going to happen. I just, in my head, said it's going to happen. And I saw myself there, doing what I love, and I'm still doing it.
And yes, we enjoy it, thank you. And I wonder, so you've done some amazing roles that people love. We're not going to mention them, but have you ever felt like, okay, I'm only getting one type of roles. Maybe I'm getting typecast as something. Like, do you feel like sometimes you have to voice, I want to do this too?
Yeah, so when I started my career, I was playing like different roles like paramedics and, cops and things like this, which were great because they were really cool parts and interesting, and surgeons and things like this. But then I started doing other parts. And I played this one character who was almost like an Aphrodite, I thought of her as the goddess of love. And that really opened another door for me. And eventually I got to play a villain. And it's funny because since I've been playing a villain, I keep playing villains. But my whole body of work, the first 15 years of my life, I was not the villain. So I have a whole career that preceded that one role that I played, that you all know. And a lot of people don't know that I have a large body of work before the villain role.
You can tell us, is it nicer, funnier to play a baddie?
Of course, it's so much fun. I love playing a bad girl. Because I was told, I was working with this actor who was also a villain on the show that I was on for a long time. And he said usually the people that play villains in life are the nicest people. And I said, I agree with that. Because a lot of people who know me don't think that I can be an evil person. Or a villain or a bad girl. But we all have a darkness in us, so we just have to tap into it.
They say that about directors for horror films as well, that they're the sweetest people, yet they make the cringiest film. There's a contradiction there.
Yeah, it's like we have these thoughts, but we don't act on them, and so we turn them into art. I think it's the safest way to be. Instead of being mean to people, we just pretend to be mean to people.
We keep it on the screen.
We keep it on the screen.
I also wonder about your fans. I can feel in the room that it's very diverse. We have as many women as men, different ages too.
Different cultures.
Exactly, yes. How would you describe your fan base?
I would describe them as diverse. I would say very cultural, very diverse, very passionate, very rabid, very loyal, dedicated. They're fans that are constantly growing within themselves, and I see that. There's so many here that I've known for years, and I've seen them grow. Teenagers that are now in their 20s and make me feel old. Thank you. But it's really amazing to see these kids growing up, and I've known them since they were 12 or 13, and now they're in their 20s, and it's like crazy. But the loyalty is such a beautiful quality in life as a human to possess, and I'm a very loyal person, so I feel like the fans reflect me as well in that sense. They're very loyal and very grateful for it.
So, over the years, you've received a lot of love, but you've also given back. Could you talk to us about your work for charities, for instance? You've been pretty active.
Yes. Yes, first of all, I receive all your love all the time, and I feel it even when I'm in my home. I can still feel the love like from all over the world. So I hope that I can always reflect and give it back to everybody as best as I can with our short moments together. But in my personal life, I try to give back always. I grew up doing charity work with my family. My father was very generous with people, even though he didn't have much. My mother was the same. Both my grandmothers were always very inclusive and cooking for people in the neighborhood, and we often had people who had less than us to come over and eat. I still do that in my life. I feed everybody, like one character I recently played who liked to cook. I'm very much like her in that way. I'm always feeding people. And in charity work, I think it's really important to step outside of oneself and help another in need. And there are so many charities out there, not just people, but like even our planet. I mean, our planet probably needs the most help on some level, right? So the NRTC is a charity, is an organization that I love and support. It's about humanity is a new one that I just started working with, and we were in Mexico and we were doing meal prep for the LGBTQ plus refugees who were seeking asylum. And that was really special to meet some of them, and also the children that were there. There's a school there that my friend organized and founded, and she has done such beautiful work. Throughout the years, I've done some stuff that no one's ever seen because it was pre-iPhone, and people didn't have these cameras that they can film everything all the time. But I did some work in Haiti for 2.5 months, and I did some work in Sri Lanka. I was there for, those were like 2 really big, dedicated trips for me, because it was like 2 to 3 months' time. And it changed my life, and it changed my perspective, and it made me realize how much I have. And I think it's really important to step outside of yourself and really see how the rest of the world is living, and then you can come back home and go, wow, I'm really lucky. You know, it changes your perspective, and yeah, that's always a good thing, because it keeps you in reality, you know. And so anytime I feel like, oh my God, my life, I'm like, no, my life is great. You know, so yeah.
Well, thank you for shedding light on those topics, and I know that for an actor it's always difficult.
People are understanding. I hope they understand what I'm saying. Everyone seems a little confused. Okay.
But talking about going beyond the box, you've also directed. How was that experience for you, directing?
Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it because, first of all, I love working with actors. And there's a lot of actors who don't want to rehearse, which is fine. That's the way they are, and everyone has their own process. I don't judge it, but I love to rehearse. So for me, directing was like one big rehearsal, like it never ends, you know. And I love being in the position of a director, wearing a director hat, being able to help another actor get to this level of emotion or help them through a scene that maybe, you know, is very difficult for them. And being on the other side, I have a different perspective, so I can see their journey and I can guide them through it, and that's one of my favorite things about directing.
And has it instructed something to you as an actress? Like, did you have like this loop feeling of, I'm gonna try this too? Has it changed the way you think of your craft as an actress?
Well, I think for me, I've always had to direct myself because often in television, you get so many different directors, and sometimes you get a director in a season 4 who you've never worked with and they don't know the show very well. It's very difficult to trust some people that come in and you don't know if they're like, are they good, are they not good? And some are great, some not so great. So the ones that are not so great, maybe they're better with camera, you know, like the technical, but maybe not with an actor's journey or the character's journey. So I think I was trained to always rely on my inner director. So it's always been beneficial for me.
Great. You do a lot, but you also created a clothing line, Keep It Regal.
Yes, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of Regals. Wait, anyone who's wearing a Regal t-shirt, hat, or whatever, stand up.
There you go.
That's awesome! Yes! And these are my models. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support. Yeah, I wanted to start a brand that really was that was ours. You know, not just mine, but the fan base too, because I've learned so much from them and their stories have inspired me. And I felt like I wanted to start a brand that was very positive, that was very encouraging, that was about empowerment, and you know, people that wear the Regal brand, I know when they put it on, they feel stronger. You know, because it was made for this purpose. So the intention's there, so it has to have this effect on them. And it's been great designing. It's been great, like creating on that level, something different for me. I love fashion.
What's your story with fashion?
I have been a fashion model since I was 3, but in my own home, for my family. I used to do fashion shows for the family since I was very young. And I just love fashion. My mom blinks to the mafia because when we lived in a neighborhood with a lot of mafia. And so they used to give me all of the clothes when I was a little girl, like furs and things like this. We didn't have money, so this was a big deal. And my mom said, your taste came from them. It's their fault. So it was, I think it was just something that I love. I love putting, it's like a character, you know, you're putting your outfits together, you think you're like, you can create a story around an outfit, you know, it's not just a costume or an outfit, it's more than that. It makes you feel good inside.
Did you need a team to get started, or did you have that strength of saying, I'm going to do this, on Monday I'm starting? Well, how did you...
You always need a team.
Yeah?
Yeah, you always need a team in everything. And like, I wouldn't be here without all of you, we're a team. It started with one of my best friends who I've known for 27 years, one of my best girlfriends, Michelle, and I. It had started during COVID when everyone was like, what do we do with our lives? And I said, I'm gonna be creative. And so I think creativity is for me is like my sanity pill, you know? And so during COVID, I wanted to do something special. And I found the right team, these guys that I work with who are also Latino. So it's like all Latino based, except for Michelle, she's Jewish, she's my girlfriend. But the rest of the team is Latino, and it's in Los Angeles, so it's close to home. And we've been working together for 3 years now. Yeah.
So you just said that we all need a team. I feel like we should mention the strike for a few minutes. What do you think we should know about what's going on? What do we need to be educated about in this battle?
Yeah, the strike is complicated. There's a lot of points, rules that we're trying to change. That the most significant ones are fair wages for actors. You know, a lot of people aren't getting paid as in the way that they should, and the contracts haven't changed in a really long time. Residuals, this is critical for a lot of actors that are depending on residuals to help them with, you know, health insurance for the year. So if you take away residuals for these actors, they may not make their health insurance for the year, and then what? You have actors that are really struggling and maybe homeless. So we're dealing with a lot of points. We're also dealing with AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, which is, you know, it's complicated, but if they want to replace us, I don't think anyone's going to want to watch that. I wouldn't want to watch it. I want to see a real person, like my reactions to things, you know, like if I'm on the stage with you and something happens and I start to laugh, but it's not in the script. This is a real human reaction. AI, it's not going to be like this. Everything is going to be programmed. And it takes out the spontaneity, the creativity. I'm not as supportive of it. And you know, our background actors as well are being replaced with AI. And these people have been doing this for 40 years. So it's really cutting out a lot of jobs. And it's changing our industry. And so this is why we're fighting for new rules and new contracts and new wages, everything across the board.
Thank you for sharing.
And the reason why we can't talk about things like that show or this show or the names of characters is because it's going to shine a light on that, and you know they don't want us to do that. So for now, we just talk about other things. Yeah.
And you just said that spontaneity is very important. You also like rehearsing. What's your relation to improvisation, ad-lib? Just like going off script, I guess, like we're doing right now.
Yeah, I think some writers are okay with this, and some people are not. So it depends on the team you're working with. Some people really like it, like especially if you're in comedy, they're more open to this, you know, and sitcom and things like this, they're more open to ad-lib, but in sometimes really structured shows, they don't want you to go off the page, they want you to stay true to the words, so it just depends on who you're working with.
You just mentioned sitcoms, and everyone like who heard you talk know how funny you are. Is it something you might like be interested in, like working on sitcoms?
Oh my God, yes! I would love it. I know, Bex and I should probably start our own sitcom. We keep talking about it. I know, we keep talking about it. We'll see.
Well, I feel like we should open floor to questions. Don't hesitate and raise your hand. Please keep in mind the video instructions that you received. If you want to share some love, don't be afraid, but we might just say, okay, we're going to skip to the next question. When it will be time for the last question, I will say, sorry, this is the last question. We have two ways of you being allowed to ask your question. We have this little cube there that will be thrown in the public. If you use it, if you raise your hand and a volunteer throws that block to you. Sorry, I should have helped. I didn't see you.
I should have just gotten up.
And then the second one if you want. So that little cube will be a way to ask a question. If you use it, speak closely to the mic because we need to hear you. And there's also two mics here and here where you can ask a question. So does anybody want to raise their hand? Okay, so the volunteers, help us out and pick the first person to ask a question, please.
Do you want to start a line or no? Is it
I
fire
was told
safety?
that I should rely on the volunteers, but I see someone here. So
Okay.
please tell us your name and ask your question.
No, she's a volunteer.
Oh, so could you pick someone for the first question? There we go.
Yeah, the line sometimes helps too.
If you want the line for the mics.
But just know that sometimes we may not be able to get to everybody, but this helps. It saves time.
Okay, we'll go from right to left.
Hi, I'm Lana Parrilla, I'm volunteering.
Okay, your question.
Yes.
Please speak very closely to the mic.
Hi, my name is Clara. I don't have a question. I want
A bit louder.
I can't hear you. Can everyone please be mindful? Thank you.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a question. I want something to say. I have something to say. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little nervous, so I took some notes. I hope you always remember how valuable you are, making an impact on every person you meet. You are needed even if you cannot see it. It's incredibly difficult to put all the things in words that I'd like to tell you, but you're a wonderful person, and I never saw a person before who is so loving, caring and generous to everyone. You're a great actress and designer. No matter what you do you do it with passion, and that's something I admire a lot about you. Despite all of this, you give so much help to other people most of whom you don't even know, and that's just the most beautiful thing I've seen in my life. You once said that you're very far from being perfect, but that is what makes you so perfect in your own way. You cannot imagine how many people you help with just your words and saved their lives, and if there are any angels in this world, then you are definitely one of them.
You brought a tear to my eye. Thank you.
Let's move
It's
there.
very beautiful. Thank you.
Please speak very closely to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That is very true. I very much agree with that. You really are an angel. My question is, so you've told us before that you are into acting because you love storytelling, but what if you could write your own story? What would you write about?
Probably something that I'm familiar with. I would probably write something that I'm familiar with, either growing up in New York or life experiences that I've had. Yeah, something that has that's going to lead to inspiring people, because my life has been filled with events and situations that have helped me grow, and I think that I am who I am today because of everything I experienced. So I would want some of that to be in the script to help enlighten and help someone in the world.
Thank you. And then I just have a really quick thing to say. So I'm a student of Sean Maguire's, and for his acting lessons with Sean Maguire. And once he basically pretended to be one of your fans at a convention, and I have a little video of him doing that, and I was just wondering if you thought it was accurate.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
You know, I have no idea. I can't see it or hear it, but
He was basically just screaming are your fans, and I was wondering if you agree that we are like that,
Your friends
crazy.
scream?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they do. I think I would have screamed when I met Meryl Streep, but I couldn't speak, so that happens too, right? Thank you.
Let's move there.
Hello, I was wondering, do you prefer to have characters for long seasons for a big show that you can learn about the development, or like the two last one that you did, that it's only one season, so you already know all of the informations and you can add depth to, I don't know, I know what
you mean. I kind of like all of it. I really love all of it, whether it's short, character-lived, or a long period of time. If it's long period of time, you have to have really, really great writers. And if it's short, you also have to have great writers, because there has to be a beginning and end, right? So it has to be full in that whole arc. But honestly, an opportunity to act is always fun for me, so any form of acting, theater, or a longer series, a shorter series, a mini series, anything like this, I love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
Your turn.
Hi.
Take your time.
You know we love Lola and Levi, right?
I'm sorry.
We love Lola and Levi.
Oh, thank you.
And the way you married them. But they are brother and sister. So I want to know, what was that time that you were like, oh no, like something that they did?
I feel like, maybe this is a question.
No, it's okay. The one time Lola likes to start fights. Not with Levi, with other dogs. She's spicy, like characters I've played. Lola. Very much like the one I played for 7 years. Lola. And so one day she went after a dog I had, and they wrapped around me the leash, and I went down. And Levi, they both like they didn't touch the dog, but they were barking. But they dragged me in the street, and I was cut here and here and here and here. I was so mad. And there's one picture I posted of them, and they're both in a bed, and they're both like this. They look really cute, but actually they were in a lot of trouble. So you'll have to go back to my Instagram and find that photo. They're both like in a bed together, and they look like they are in trouble. Yeah.
Love you.
Thank you.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Flo. I might look on my phone because I'm somewhere between screaming and breaking down from nerves.
Okay.
So has there ever been a scene where you thought or felt like, oh, that's going to be hard or rough, or I can't get through this on an emotional or like psychological?
Has there
or personal
ever been a scene that was difficult
scene?
for me?
Yeah. Based on like.
Yeah, I mean, I had to work on a green stage once, a big screen, green stage, and there's nothing to look at.
Tennis balls, right? That's what they say. Tennis balls to go with.
Yeah, but the whole, like if it's like this, but all the walls, everything, the ceiling, everything's green. And I'd never done anything like that before, and I had to do a very emotional scene, and I was very much like, oh my God, this is not like my living room, so it was a challenge for me. But I just have to get quiet and breathe and just like remember what I'm doing so I could continue the scene and not get distracted by this big green fishbowl. Yeah. But that was a challenge, but then I got used to it.
Thanks.
Hi. I wanted to know what your go-to song is.
My go-to song?
Yeah.
Anything David Bowie.
Heroes.
Yeah, here. Actually, sometimes Heroes. Really. That or Lady Stardust or God, anything. Yeah. David Bowie.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You said you always feel at ease in Europe, and do you understand?
It's hard to hear, right?
Yes.
I don't know why. I think the
Don't
speakers are
shout the question. Yeah.
Okay. We all. Is that too loud?
No, it's perfect.
We all know you feel at ease in Europe, and you have some, DNA background in Europe. I was wondering what it is in general or per country. What makes you feel like that? Is it
Like I belong here and not in the U.S.
yeah, maybe it can be in some countries you feel like, oh, I
More
live the
home.
same, or it feels like home. What does it make you feel like?
I don't know. I think that it's more like I love being in Europe, and it's the only thing that's hard about being in Europe is I don't have my dogs, and my mom, and my Aunt Candy. That's it. And my best friends. Well, I have some other friends, but when I'm here, I feel like, I don't know, it's my DNA, because my background is really Italian and Spanish, even though my father was Puerto Rican, but even before that was Spanish. So I'm Spanish Italian, so I'm 79% European, and I feel like, I don't know, I love being in Europe more than I like being in the States. I don't love being in the States, but it's where I am right now.
Do you have that more around the Mediterranean area?
I'm sorry?
do you experience that more around the Mediterranean area? Because people look more like us.
Like us, yeah. I mean, yes, no, but I also love being in Paris too, because it's Paris, and I have a lot of friends there. But I feel this way in London as well. I'm an old soul, I think. So I love the old history and buildings and the people. And when I'm in Italy, when I'm in Spain, I lived in Spain for 6 months and I loved it. I felt very much more comfortable here than I do. I relate to more Europeans than I do Americans.
And we love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too. I wish I lived, trust me, I wish I lived here more.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I need a private plane so I can bring Lola.
Let's do that. Let's organize.
Seriously.
Hi. How are you? Doing good, thank you. I was wondering, are there any updates for the Keep It Regal boutique shop upcoming to be expected?
Yeah, we have one that we're going to drop one new shirt. And it's special, this one, because there's someone else in it.
Thank you.
That is a tease. I'm not alone in this one.
And any chance you're bringing it to the European conventions?
Not this trip. No, we're trying to, I have to go to Brazil as well. So we're thinking maybe in Brazil, because we were here like last year, I think, or a couple of years ago when we were, but we might be doing it again for Brazil because it's so hard shipping there, some reasons, I don't know. So we want to make it easy for them to be able to purchase, so we tried it here, and then now we're going to try it there, but it's hard to kind of bring all the stuff all the time, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I was wondering if you like to read, and if yes, do you have a favorite book that inspires you?
Do I like to read?
Yeah.
I do like to read. I'm reading this new book right now. Has anyone read The Luckiest Girl Alive? Has anyone read that? Okay, I just started, and someone also gave me The 7 Husbands of Eleanor. Okay, I finished this one. It's really good. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Oh my God, there's so many books. I love A Prayer for Owen Meany, and this is like an old book, but it's really a great story. Really great story. So maybe try that one. Yeah, there's so many great books, but yeah, I finished another one. I read this one actually in my layover yesterday. I had 4 hours, and I read this book by John Cleese called Creativity.
How was it?
And it's great, it's short, it's like 120 pages or something like this, short. I read it like very quick, and it was fun. If anyone likes John Cleese, I don't know who doesn't, but he's amazing, so.
Yeah, he's a brilliant mind.
Brilliant mind and comedian and actor, and writer. So this is a fun book. If anyone's looking for something on creativity that's like a quick short read, try this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your turn.
Hi, is that okay?
Unfortunately, this will be the last question, so enjoy. Yeah, we're sorry.
First, how are you?
Good, how are you?
All right. I just wanted to ask, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I completely forgot what I wanted to ask.
You can do it.
We're here with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask about, I can't say it. Is there I forgot the name,
Oui, can I translate to you? Oui, allez-y, posez la question en français, je la traduirai en anglais pour Lana.
S'il y a un moment en backstage qu'elle a aimé pendant tourner certaines séries ou certains films.
Has there been special moments, not on set, but backstage while making a show or a film? Some stuff that like we didn't get to see on the screen that were special to you. Sylvie?
Yeah, like parties in my trailer with that cast. Rebecca and I always have like our own little moments together. She's been one of my favorite people to work with. You know, we always have, my trailer was so close and she would just come over and we would have tea and cookies and talk and share. And I think when you're working with people that you really are connecting with, like I did a show with a lot of women. There were roses and knives. And all of those women, we became such great friends. And things like this are really special when you can bond with people that you're working with behind the scenes on a real human level. You know, like Rebecca and I share the deepest secrets with each other. She's my sister for life, you know. So these moments are really special. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Maybe one more.
Yes, let's do the one more. We have 1 minute. We're going to take that minute.
We all know that you were a Disney queen, not a Disney princess, but if you were a Disney princess, what Disney princess would you have been?
If I had to be a princess. Okay. I'm only answering this because you both are so cute.
Thank you.
But if I had to be a princess, I would be Ariel.
Thank you very much, Lana Parrilla. We bow to you.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here. Let's have a great weekend.
And you know about the future heroes that you can meet here. We're going to meet soon. There's also